couldn't play physical, so I don't know. I don't want to say nothing, but you know, 6 foul in the NBA Finals, where I'm like this. Come on, man. Better than that.
That happened with 4:12 to go, and it turns out that the Mavericks in total were actually not better than that. They couldn't overcome it. Brian Windhorst joined SportsCenter from the very floor Game 3 took place. Look, Bri, he was the NBA's leading scorer. Luka, everybody talked about this being the crowning achievement, winning a title the way Jokic did last year, his moment in the sun. How would you say this series is going for Luka Doncic?
Well, I do think it's a crowning achievement for the Celtics. And I think any discussion about what's going on with the Mavericks has to come after you recognize that the Celtics have completely earned this by outplaying the Mavericks in these 3 games. You know, I'm just going to tell you, Zubin, that last summer I was in Manila in the Philippines for the FIBA World Cup. And Luka was playing for Slovenia, which is extremely important to him. They had a great run in the 2021 Olympics in Tokyo, almost won a medal, trying to qualify against Canada. And Luka completely lost his cool in that game. Elimination game for Slovenia, very important. He is screaming at the officials. He is screaming at the Secretary General of FIBA at half court during the game, and he gets ejected. And when the game ends, he's in the locker room. And so here we are tonight in this vitally important game, and here's Luka again being more focused on the officials than he is on his team. And, you know, he fouled out of this game with 4 minutes left. He's upset about the 5th and 6th foul. He had 2 fouls in this game that were 80 feet from the basket. He probably could have been called for 3 or 4 technical fouls, if I'm being honest, and possibly even more in this game. The officials gave him wide latitude. He is blown by repeatedly defensively over and over. And I realize he's dealing with injuries, but he's blown by repeatedly over and over through this series. Boston is totally attacking him on defense. And with 5 fouls, that's when he decides to try to draw a charge with 4 minutes left to go in a tight game. Just very poor decision-making from an awesome player. It is repeatedly happening. And at some point, I do believe Luka is going to win a championship. He will raise a banner here in Dallas, but he is going to have to get past this issue that is dragging him down. He does almost everything else so well. His teammates have begged him. His coaches have begged him. His countrymen have begged him. And he's just not getting over the hump. And it happened. I saw it happen last summer. I saw it happen here tonight. I wonder how many more times we're going to see it happen before Luka understands what it means to graduate to the next level and show leadership, because he just wasn't able to do it tonight.
That is fascinating perspective. He had 30 and 10 in game 1, a triple-double in game 2, 27 on this night. It just shows you numbers just don't mean everything. There's a lot of intangibles that go into it. Last thing, one number I want to hit you with on the way out the door. The 10-year plan for the Celtics, playing the long game. For the viewers, take us inside this.
Well, I think they were hoping it would take less than 10 years, but it was 11 years ago this month where they traded Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce in that big trade with the Brooklyn Nets, and it was 10 years ago this month that they drafted Jaylen Brown in the beginning of this. And they got from that trade, they got Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Those were the guys who scored 30 points, and it's obviously been a process to get them to this point, but they did that, and they've made other trades along the way, and they've had losses. But they have a system. Their system is to shoot 3-pointers and to play great defense. They have 21 more 3-pointers in this series than the Mavericks. That's just mathematics. That is the way they play. That's the way they've played for years now. That's the way Joe Mazzulla wants to play. But I use the term graduate with Luka for a reason, because in the 4th quarter of this game, George Sedano, who's our radio reporter here at ESPN, tells us that Jaylen Brown is in the huddle saying to his teammates, now's when we graduate. And it took a while for them to get there, but that's what they did. We saw the Celtics graduate in this game tonight, and that is what really should be applauded, because this has been a long time getting here.
Sometimes it's best not to overthink it. One team won 64 games. The other team was the 5th seed in the West. They can wrap it up in Dallas Friday night. That's our Brian Windhorst.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA over here.